Well, hey there team, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a bit more Hardspace Shipbreaker. So we're playing with the new scrap ship, or salvage ship, however you'd like to see it. That's the category it sits in. And it seems that our sort of little patent pending way of getting the, I was gonna say the hard drive. I'm in computer build mode. The way of getting the core out seems to work just fine, to be perfectly honest. Now I was thinking, we spent a lot of time on the industrial gecko trying to peel it open as tactically as possible. It probably makes sense to at least have a look at how this thing's put together to try and investigate how similar it is, because it still is a gecko hull. But I will point out that I think, as fun as that experiment was, we did exhaust a lot of it, at least the first 2/3 of the ship, you know, as far as the real pressure points. We learned a lot of things about the glue system, but we're not necessarily going to do all of that all over again, because that has pretty much been done. So I'm probably going to, in this episode, we'll interrogate the hull, and we'll see if we can find some commonalities in the sort of join points, and maybe that's something we'll run with just for a little bit, but we're not going to dwell on it quite as long as the previous, I don't think, unless you guys, you know, really want me to go deep on that. What I was thinking is we could come back to sort of the central, I guess, thesis of what we were trying to do, which was trying to get the most value out of the ship. And I felt like doing it from a sort of almost brute force barbarian. No, that's not the best way to put it. Let's say from a basic fundamentals standpoint. Like a first principles thing, trying to get the most expensive stuff extracted. So at the moment, the best example is for the core. We figured out how to pull the core out almost immediately, quickly, and without any other things getting in the way, right? We extract the brain and chop all bits of body around it. The next most expensive thing, as best I can tell, are the thrusters. So we might see if I can come up with some clever way of pulling the thrusters out the side, potentially cutting the walls off or something like that. And then maybe like the ECU, that sort of thing. We'll have a bit of a look. But I think maybe I'll start focus on pulling out I suppose the important organs of the ship. The Swift Mimus, we'll do that one. Yeah, because that's sort of where we were at. And I feel like it might be time to sort of pivot focus a little bit, gently so. So I think the first habit, what we'll try and do is, I think we've got the best method so far to remove the core, right? So we'll get the core out first every time,
pressure levels drop,
and then we'll start poking and prodding and interrogating, and then we'll come up with a system for removing the thrusters fairly well, and then we'll probably work that into the every single time routine. Where's the switch? It's behind me, isn't it? You idiot. Well, hang on. Alright,
airlock pressure levels increasing.
that's the front that way. Hang on. Alright.
Air pressure level decreasing. Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Oh, there we go. He's figured it out, team. I figure cycling all the... Oh, Jesus.
Air pressure level decreasing.
That's right, when you change vision mode, you let go.
Air
Gotta be
pressure
careful of
level
that.
decreasing.
Alright, I think we're all clear, finally. I'm still a little confused. It doesn't quite come naturally to me. Alright. The reactor. Now, was there a favored side, left or right? I think it really is mirrored. The one thing that we will do, we don't necessarily have to take the whole panel out, but I think taking the top and bottom out will be a big boon to getting this thing out. I guess we could remove that. You might recall from last time when we went to panic stations, we needed that extra part removed as well.
Salvage destroyed. Please avoid damaging valuables.
Alright. And then we just stick our head down here, perfectly bloody safe. We cut this little buddy. Now we're cooking with gas.
Reactor meltdown triggered. Action urgently required.
Look at that. We've gotten it. We've figured it out, team. I'm pretty happy with this reactor pool.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credit
Just waiting for when the devs decide to patch it out. Put some bloody beams in my way to mess with my method. You mongrels. So that's interesting. It must have sparked. I'm not sure what's happened here. It's usually well behaved with the sparks, so that throws me a little bit. Okay. So what I really want to investigate is how the shell is kind of put together. That's not where we're going. Come on, there's a way through the roof, isn't there, normally? Here it is, here. Alright. So, this we were having a few headaches with because they changed the way that the keel connects here. There's no disconnect here anymore, you bastards. So, that I find interesting, but I'm also curious about how this all comes together here. Now, there's nothing overtly holding the top and bottom on. You can see none of the main things other than the one up the back. So this we have seen before in the industrial, that this seems to be one of the main points. And we hadn't really interrogated how to deal with that just yet. It's not actually explicitly attached to the inner superstructure, but it is holding that whole sort of back portion together, right? But if you were to cut this, I wonder if it would spring open immediately. It's not moving when I push on it. Let's see if there's any overt connections down the bottom. There are. So if we were to take that off as well, now that might be interesting. Okay. But as far as I can tell, that's not connected. Oh, look at that. There you go. What's happening here? Starting to come apart somehow. It's more that the back's floating. Now, how much does this weigh? 142 ton. It's a bit heavy. But 20 ton at the back. That's almost tetherable, to be perfectly honest. Ah. There's an interesting development. Alright, well, let's have a look at the back end then. So that's not attached at all to the, as I like to call it, like the inner sort of superstructure, right? Now, we've got some pipes involved in the equation. But, so they're attached to that. They're attached to the core. Linking around there, that's fine. So once again, the only real... See how it's all sort of... Well, I guess they're not counted as connected. But if you were to look over the core... Oh, that's right. Okay, so the... So the fuel line is actually very simple. It just comes down to there, right? So this whole sort of fuel bloody system, fuel engine little skeleton bit is free floating now. And that coolant line is technically still attached. So let's have a look. That's it. This is all actually quite clean. Because, well, hang on. That there is our attachment, at least the front to the superstructure. Let's see about deleting that. Let's see if we can peel this bloody egg. 14, so that's all still attached. Oh wow, yeah, no, the airlock's a problem. What is the airlock doing these days with these little struts? I mean, they look like cuttables. I haven't seen this before. I wonder if other ships have got this bullshit on as well. So it's all 14 ton. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm looking at the number down the bottom right on my display above that little red bar. Right of the word barge. You can see that's the total tonnage of what you're looking at via attachment. The bracketed number's the actual item, so that little bar is 10 kilo, sorry. Alright, hang on. So this airlock's actually technically free now, 172 kilo. Hang on, I should be able to push that. Well, isn't that interesting? How cool is that? I need to check the other ships. I'd be curious if you guys have looked at the other ships since this design got added. It reminds me of like a heatsink in a computer. Because I've been building one recently. Just sort of the way that it's attached. Okay. I'll borrow that, thanks. Oh, that's not going to be good on the coolant line. $20 ton. Oh, hang on a sec.
Salvage resumed. Please revisit your training.
Well, what the fuck happened here? This is new. What the fuck happened here? I'll tell you what, for one, since when did coolant do that much damage? But how about this? The cockpit just sort of came free. Oh. Ah. Isn't that interesting? Alright, so here's the question. That's 19 ton. We can shift that. That's 82 ton. $82 ton. Alright, so it's still technically attached at the bottom, and we can see that here. $28. $53. I think that was the only connection. So there's only one bottom connector. Ah. This is all peeling apart quite easily. Arguably even more easy. Look at this. I don't know what happened there. But we've established that this is only a mere 20 ton. So we should be able to... No. Oh, fuck's sake, come on. That should actually peel, right? Ever so slowly. Yeah, look, there it goes. How about that?
Warning. Oxygen reserves are low.
Fuck off. Oh, now it's going to cut all my tethers. Go away. Now this thing's causing a bit of trouble.
Warning. Oxygen reserves are critical.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool. That peels out. We need to investigate what happened with the front there.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
How much is that there? 28 ton. So that's not probably going to be repeatable. The only reason that's drifted like that is because of the coolant explosion. The interior is quite robust. Okay, now this is interesting. Hang on. 53, 53. So we do have an overt connection here. Alright, so we're gonna have to have a look at that as well. 3 million flat, not bad. Okay, yeah. Seems that they've made some changes to the cockpit, perhaps? That's the only thing I can think to explain. It's never, it's like the early airlock. Well, I suppose, well, we'll see how all the airlocks work now, but, you know, to remove an airlock out the side of a ship or anything like that, it was like bloody hacking away at a stump of wood. It was, you just had to mangle the aluminium to get through it. It was a nightmare. And that was the same sort of thing for the cockpit attached to the skin. So the fact that I almost feel like they're sitting there sort of like how the thrusters sit in the rear end of the skin, how they're not technically attached, they're just sitting there. That's what it feels like. But we're really going to have to investigate that on the next one. Okay, cool. Well, look, our kidney pool still works. The shell seems to peel off just as easy, if not easier, than the industrial. So we're learning some interesting things. Yeah. So we'll have a look at the cockpit, and I want to start thinking about the thrusters, because that's an area that doesn't get any love, is that back end. Especially now that we've got that sort of way to decouple the core. I'm curious how we go getting thrusters out after that, because we're not flushing and isolating the lines. Yeah, anyway, it's good to have a project, so that's what we'll work towards. Okay, team, thanks again for joining me. We might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you on the next one.